Begins to build in from the western Dakotas. Across the 5-state map, couldn't find a better day. Sunshine just about everywhere. The only exceptions across Iowa, some very heavy thunder shower activity. A mini tornado being reported this afternoon at Remsen, Iowa. Otherwise, the activity has just been featured for some large hail being reported across that area. Temperatures are ranging from the 70s across the Dakotas, 81 degrees in Huron, South Dakota, 60s for the most part across northern Minnesota with lots of bright sunshine. Temperatures holding in the 60s and 70s across Iowa, and only 50s across extreme eastern Wisconsin and the Green Bay vicinity. There we are. Across the storm surge radar tonight, we do have an area of showers and thunderstorms breaking out just to the south and west of Alexandria, but all of this is moving due south at about 35 knots and will not be of any concern to us. We'll basically see dry weather over the next couple of days with really, if anything, maybe just some scattered activity breaking out. The weather map that Stan talked about just a minute ago really isn't showing too much activity tonight. We're basically just showing a weak frontal trough now pushing across Minnesota now from the west. The frontal trough will move east of us during tonight and tomorrow. We'll then see lights of sunshine as high pressure builds in from across northwestern North Dakota. Meanwhile, a big storm that was pummeling the east with lots of rain, about 3 to 4 inches a couple of days ago, that storm is now slowly fading away across eastern Lake Huron, but we'll still see lots of clouds prevail across that part of the country while we see lots of sunshine here. Local forecasts will spell out like this. For tonight, we expect generally partly cloudy to clear skies. Overnight low temperatures of 45 to 50 degrees, and then for tomorrow, we'll see a nice sunny day all day, maybe some partial clouds around, especially in the afternoon. High 70 to 75, and that will also hold true for Monday. And our boating and recreational forecast, along with the aviation interests, we're looking for northeasterly winds tomorrow at 8 to 12 knots. The barometer will be steady or slowly rising. Pilots expect VFR conditions, maybe an occasional ceiling developing by afternoon between 6,000 to 7,000 feet, but always check with your flight service station if you're going to be planning any flights for tomorrow. And that's
I'm not planning any flights for a long time, not for at least 3 or 4 weeks. I want it all to kind of settle down. You might recall it was about 10 years ago. As a matter of fact, it was just 10 years ago that Joe Kapp led Minnesota to the Super Bowl, then began some court battles over free agent status. You know all about that, a fight that ended only a month ago in total defeat for Mr. Joe Kapp. Kapp obviously sought another career, and our new Center 11 entertainment editor, Nancy Nelson, is here live in the studio to tell us all about that new career.
Well, Stan, during those years, Kapp turned to movies. After all, his name was worth something, but movies only used him and his name. He usually played a football player. They'd give him 3 lines, have him step in and out of the shower, and crash into a few people with spectacular tackles. He finally decided that perhaps he'd have a better chance at luck behind the camera, but he wanted to be in charge. Now he's the associate producer of Over the Edge. Interestingly, even after all this time, he likens what he does as a producer to football.
Well, I think that's the old quarterback in me, you know, and a great thing about quarterbacking is that you do get to be involved in the pregame plan and in the overall operation of the football team.
Then Joe capsulized what an associate producer really is.
The associate producer is the water boy.
So Kapp moved into the position of the boss, but why on earth did he pick Over the Edge? Now, the concept is believable enough. Parents and kids not communicating, hurting quite a bit, but it all becomes absurd. Now, in this town, all the kids are wild, disrespectful of everyone, and they're all hopped up on drugs most of the time. There are a few moments that are real, but they just can't salvage this disaster. Kapp told me proudly that they used amateurs. Well, that certainly comes as no surprise when you see the movie. Over the Edge had a good idea, and we might have learned something, but I'm sorry, old Joe, Over the Edge should have just fallen all the way over and died a very peaceful death. Stan?
Oh, Nancy, be easy on him. After all, he was the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings for a number of years.
Well, he should have stuck with it.
Okay, thank you very much. And speaking of sports and things like that, here's a man that knows all there is to know about the Vikings and the Twins.
We're not going to talk about the Vikings. It's not Viking season yet. But the Twins, I know one thing about the Twins. They better get winning if they're going to stay in first place. Twins lost again today. We'll take a look at highlights. Also, doing a little bit more than playing baseball at the Met, playing Get Roy to Seattle. We'll explain that as News Center 11 continues.
Careful, Marge. The baby's bidding on the Oriental rug.
Oh, I have to change him.
Here's the Pampers.
Thanks.
But no thanks. No thanks to Pampers?
I have something even better.
Hey, it's quilted. But I can't believe it's better than Pampers.
It's new Pampers.
Oh. I love the quilted lining. It's so soft.
That new quilted lining stays twice as dry.
Twice as dry as the old Pampers? Come on.
It's true. They keep his skin a lot drier.
Watch how it works. We'll fold back half the new quilted lining, wet it, and set a baby on it. After a minute, we'll put blotter paper between the baby's skin and the Pampers diaper. Look at the dryness difference. The lining side is a lot drier, and it's the new quilted lining that's next to your baby's skin.
Yep. That new lining really keeps his skin a lot drier.
I'm sold.
New quilted Pampers for drier babies. Pampers' new quilted lining stays twice as dry.
These are the top hairstylists in Hollywood, the Elite Cinema Hair Design Group. Here's why they use Wellaflex hairnet on their superstar clients and on themselves.
Wellaflex gives me super holding power without sticky buildup. It never lets me down.
The special conditioners of Wellaflex make the difference. They leave the hair flexible and shiny. Wellaflex never lets me down.
Try Wellaflex non-aerosol hairnet, the professional hold that won't let you down.
1979 brings Minnesota an import so masterfully designed it could be from Milan. So fuel efficient it could be from Stuttgart. So many standard appointments it could be from Tokyo. The AMC Spirit DL, 22 miles per gallon city, 33 highway, imported from a place where a dollar still buys a lot of car, Kenosha, Wisconsin.
That's the AMC, the American way.
I'm telling you, it's getting just a little bit dark out for the Twins. Just about 2 weeks ago, they were 4.5 games in front, and now they were just 3 games in front last week, and tonight?
1/2 game. It's getting a little bit close. Well, it's only the beginning of the season. You can look at that 2 ways. Either it's going to be a long season or we can get back on track. Nonetheless, it comes right down to this. Twins lost again today. They're 4th in a row. They're 6th in a row at the Met. That's a little surprising to lose at home like that. 7-4 to the Royals. That, behind me, you see John Castino knocking one into the stands for his 2nd home run of the year, and the Twins at that point pulling up 5-3 behind Kansas City. But then, in the 8th inning, Jose Morales doubles in Butch Weiniger, and it's 5-4. The Twins look as though they're making a comeback. Well, Mike Marshall, just like last night, couldn't get the Royals out, and in the 9th inning, Willie Wilson triples, just like he did last night, driving home UL Washington. The Royals win it 7-4. The Twins have now lost 9 of their last 12 games, and the first-place lead cut to a half game as the Angels beat the White Sox. More scores just a minute. You know, win or lose, though, the Twins' shining star this year has been Roy Smalley. Now that the All-Star voting is upon us, the Twins brass is planning an all-out assault on the All-Star ballot box. This is the artillery, 144,000 All-Star ballots. At each home game, ballots are being passed out, as many as fans want. Then, while they have ballots in their hands, Twins officials are doing everything to encourage a vote for Roy Smalley.
We're using the PA announcers, we're using the press releases, we're doing everything we can to get the ballots out to as many people as we can, and people who request ballots, we ask them to call in, and we'll try to get as many ballots as we can out to them, and just make them available.
144,000 votes won't get the Twins shortstop on the All-Star team, but it will give him a good start. And so far, the Twins' plan is working pretty well. Who are you voting for as shortstop in the American League?
Smalley. Oh, wow, Roy Smalley, of course. There's any other choice. But outside of Roy Smalley, I really don't care who makes it.
But not everyone is getting the message. You're going to vote several times to see that he gets on the team?
If I can afford it. They're free. What do you mean if you can afford it? What do you mean it costs $2 to get in here?
You don't have to buy a ticket and go to the baseball park to get a ballot. You can get them by calling the Twins. They're also on all-star displays at any store. More on bad news for the Twins. Here's those scores. Angels winning 8-4, 2 doubles by Dan Ford. Angels now a half game back. Baltimore and Detroit are 5-5 after 13 innings. Other scores, Tommy John did not win his 10th game. He lost to Cleveland 8-4. Roy Howell hit a 3-run homer in the 9th to lead Toronto over the Red Sox. All the Dodgers-Reds series on the coast and on Channel 11 earlier today. Dusty Baker hitting a single, driving in the lone Dodger run today. Cincinnati came back. Ken Griffey hit a home run. Reds 3, Dodgers 1. There's that score again as we look at National League scores. The Mets leading the Pirates by 1 in the 7th. The Braves 5-4 over the Giants in the 9th. The Cards and the Expos were rained out. All the other games are on the coast or on being played under the lights. Well, if you're one of those still expecting to see Billy Martin at the helm of the Yankees next year, I think you've been fooled again by Yankee owner George Steinbrenner. Now, first of all, Steinbrenner said that after this whole thing involving Martin slugging the Reno sports writer, that was all cleared up. Well, he was going to rehire Billy Martin for next season. Well, now George is hedging a little bit. He says that, quote unquote, Martin must adequately explain the incident before he'll be rehired. And I'm sure if Martin does that, George will find another way of weaseling out of his promise to rehire Billy Martin next year. And after all this, George Steinbrenner still can't understand why he is a man whose word just isn't respected. Well, over in golf, Tom Watson is leading the Memorial Golf Tournament in Dublin, Ohio. The one that Jack Nicklaus set up. The Golden Bear is 6 strokes back, tied for third. Miller Barber is in second. And disposed Boston Bruin coach Don Cherry got an offer today. He could coach the Colorado Rockies. Quite a come down from the Bruins. He hasn't decided yet. Either is this man behind me, Bobby Orr. He's been offered the job at the Bruins. He says he doesn't want it.
And that was another chapter in all the sports and the ongoing soap opera called Billy Martin, Billy Martin, and we'll probably hear more. Okay. Thank you very much, Steve. Gasoline shortages or not, many Americans took to the highways as usual this weekend. Most drivers apparently had really little trouble finding gas to get out of town, but getting back into town could be tough in some areas. In other news, 2 people have died. At least 39 were hurt in an explosion today at the Dow chemical plant near San Francisco. Dow says the plant was under construction at the time, and they report there was no pollution as a result of the accident. According to former President Gerald Ford, the United States already has the neutron bomb, and in fact, he says it is deployed in Europe. Mr. Ford also told United Press International he still has no plans to run for president in 1980, but he said the GOP at this moment could beat President Carter if that election were held today. And the Tokyo Zoo reports that its pair of giant pandas mated today. This is hot news. If that's the case, the zoo would be the first place where baby pandas were born outside China as early as October. And in Los Angeles today, John Wayne's family helped the veteran actor celebrate his 72nd birthday. We'd like to wish the Duke a very happy birthday. And by the way, a member of the family said Wayne is making progress in his ongoing battle against cancer. And that does it. That's the 6 o'clock edition of News Center 11. We'll be back tonight at 10 o'clock, just preceding Saturday Night Live. Until then, for all of us, I'm Stan Borman. Thanks for watching and have a good evening.
In a way, some things haven't changed since William Payne and Wallace Weber got together 100 years ago.
Thank you, Payne Weber.
We've always tried to provide people with sound financial advice,
Thank you, Payne Weber.
special investment services,
Thank you, Payne Weber.
and comprehensive research.
Thank you, Payne Weber.
A lot has changed in 100 years, but we still work hard to hear you say,
Thank you, Payne Weber.
talk to us now. You could thank us later. Payne Weber.
Hi, I'm Easy Ed Bergstrom. I've got some beautiful merchandise selected with you in mind. One piece or a house full. Complete home furnishings. Hurry to beautiful Buffalo and visit with one of our furniture specialists. I think you'll enjoy shopping in our large downtown store. Come on in and see us soon at Bergstrom's Furniture, Appliance, and TV, downtown Buffalo, Minnesota.
We are going to lay it on the line about liquid bleaches, okay?
And here we go. Now, you know as well as we do that any leading bleach will do a bang-up whitening job, right?
That's right, that's right. But what you might not know,
Now, listen to this.
is that Hilux liquid bleach will suck at the stains.
Right.
Brighten and whiten.
Yeah.
For less.
So take it from a couple of guys who won't set foot in anything but the best. Quality can cost less.
Hilux liquid bleach proves it. Well said, Arch.
Well, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Donna Fargo.